Are we back?
We should be, hopefully. I just went live again.
Hey!
Now we're back.
Test, test. Hot garbage fire. Test, test. Can you hear anything? Okay, we literally, before we went live for like 5 seconds, had audio and then lost it. Now Ken hears us.
Hooray!
And now I have the audio mixer.
Okay. Nice.
Oh dear lord, I love this. I love this so much.
Oh, streaming.
Gotta love it. You gotta love it.
Should we just restart from the start?
No, I'm just gonna
Yeah.
recap. I'm just gonna recap.
Okay.
But it'll be like a long recap, and I'll hand it over to you guys.
Okay.
You know what the worst part is?
Mm.
I clicked my Google Chrome after everyone said it was okay, and then unmuted just to make sure, and I got extra audio.
It was working.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just goes wild like that.
Hmm.
So, to recap what we went through, you guys live together in a 3-bedroom with Hearts O'Brien, your squirrel dog, in the in the inner palisade, I should say. You guys got to work, just kind of wearing, morning clothes pretty early, a little bit before dawn and kind of right at dawn. You quickly throw on a jacket, get out, walk past the Black Dragon Inn, a historic tavern in this part of town. It's kind of low income. It's one of those places where it's not just low income, it's low income mixed with industrial and commercial space. So it's not a slum or a housing project or anything. It's just if you're going to live around here, it's going to be pretty cheap. You guys came mostly down through the stairs. You didn't use the floor hole that a rope's been tied through because the landlord hasn't come to fix it yet. And you guys have had a moment to stop and chat by the gates. So, what do all of you talk to each other about?
Well, I was just proposing that we start a competitive ranking system at this new place, just to really pit everyone against each other right from the start,
Yeah.
I think that's a great idea.
Because how are we gonna
competition?
Exactly. How are we gonna do better if we don't know how much better we need to be?
Yeah.
That's true.
What would the ranking be based off?
How many lives we've saved?
Yeah. And I think also maybe how much property you save maybe as well.
Oh yeah.
What general positive experience did you put back into the world,
Yeah.
Because then that would work for the firefighting team. What percentage of the house did they save? So then that would kind of work there. Who else do we have? Oh, the wilderness explorer for the...
You guys are interrupted as you guys make your way through the gate. Here the street opens up again. You're in the upper palisade. There's a big wide main street that goes up to the base of the the central pine. And you also see it kind of Y sections off to the base of kind of the funicular. It's a big elaborate piece of machinery that you can see go clunk 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 like a 45-degree. I didn't choose the name. It's the most ridiculous name for an actual invention. Funicular. It's a fun machine.
Is it fun? Do we have a good time on it?
Well, that's a good question. You guys could always take a ride, but that's not the direction you're going.
Oh,
You notice
we're gonna be late.
You notice the Warriors Guild hasn't opened yet, but you can see people kind of coming and going. People who work there, going in through side doors to get things ready on the inside. You move a little bit further, and you come across the offices just as everyone's kind of piling in. You're not first, You're not last.
Arguably, though, if you're not first, you're last, so...
I mean, I get mathematics doesn't quite work out. But who's on there? Who do we see?
You can see most of them coming and going. A last couple of people pile in, and then as you do the head count, you realize just about everyone's here. All the wagons are sitting here in the garage getting ready for the deploy. You guys have a moment before, the people who run Allied Independent come out, Central Party. You can see the Ranger group, the cleanup group, and the fire group are all kind of talking amongst each other. The other, ancillary vehicles are in the back of the garage. Yours, of course, is sitting there ready to go. Oh. Is there anything you chat with anybody about?
Honestly, I feel like Diesel, he's striding in here. He's got sort of a hand ready to shake the first other hand he sees. So it's kind of more of a question of who's going to reciprocate that.
There's a slap you get from Platypus Pete, who goes, "Hey, how you doing? Is it just me, or is the Friedberger coffee slightly better than the Tim Hortons coffee?" But
I don't drink this stuff. I keep my body pure.
Well, so do I. Pure caffeine.
Not really what I meant. But I'm just happy to be part of the stuff you got going on here.
Yeah. Hey, you been working on anything? I've been trying to. I've been spending the last little while trying to tune this chronometer.
No, I've been haven't had quite the chance to get back in the workshop yet, but I got some ideas cooking. A lot of people, they make incendiary grenades. But what about the opposite? A de-incendiary grenade.
Oh yeah, and he taps on in the back. One of them is the Hail Mary. It's a multi-segmented wagon that you guys keep for the worst of the worst emergencies. It has multiple tanks, and one of them has a big symbol on it. It's the alchemical symbol for ice.
Yeah, but small and handheld. Something real moron-proof. You
hear, "All right, everyone," as an older gent comes out, followed by a couple of other people. You can see that behind him there's someone else who comes out. A very business casual looking lady with a clipboard. You can see her chewing gum while also smoking a cigarette somehow.
Oh my god.
That gum would taste so gross.
That's horrifying.
Yeah, alright, so, had a chance to catch up. We already did the introductions back in orientation, and, we did all the one-on-one trainings, so our new team here. Let's hear it for the Jack of Hearts.
Woo!
So, let's hand out our duties for this week, shall we? Not the greatest gluttic contracts on order, but we got some ready. Let's see, starts flipping through, cause... Okay, Firehouse 4. Like you want it. You're on local response, as usual. You guys just go ahead, have your coffee. Come back to the vehicle by the end of the meeting. You know how it is. They give a nod and go off in the distance. They go around through a corner into kind of a break room by the edge of the garage. They're not properly enclosed, but it's visibly back from everything else. So, next up, let's see here. Cleansing light. You got something down Hamlet, little ways south of here, investigating another one of those gremlin boxing operations. Let's see. You guys you listen for a while. He goes, "Oh, okay, Jack of Hearts, we managed to get a road service contract, so if you could do a patrol up north via Mason's Fork out to Port Mossy Rock and back, we got the contract, so if you see any wounded vehicles, you tend to them as soon as you see fit. Sound good?"
Yes, sir! He is a little too enthusiastic. And he's running, sprinting to the wagon.
Alright, and Rangers, you drew the short straw. You got an inspection over by Alliance Sky Sports. Apparently they've been having swoopers. Not getting too close to be of any real concern, but close enough to spook the clientele, so if you could go and bang some pots and pans, and they give a grumble and make their way out. Everyone's tending to their wagons individually, hitching up. the mounts that they have available. The fleet manager comes out, helps you get your rocks in tow. Everyone seems to be ready to go. You guys in turn are as well. Where to next?
Open road.
Open road. Let's get going.
Mason's Fork is where we're going.
Thank God you were paying attention. I was a little too excited.
You reach the main road and you're almost outside of town when you pass by Friedberger. Picking up anything?
Friedberger? That doesn't sound like clean eating, lads. You can't start.
Hey,
I'll get a coffee.
Is there a drive-through?
Not necessarily. The drive-through equivalent is that you pull to the side and yell at them and they hand it to you at an awkward upward angle.
Okay, I guess we're doing that then. You get your coffee and I'm ordering a nice tall glass of cold ice water.
They
Keep me
grumble.
fresh, you see.
They grumble at the ice water, getting ready to be like, you have to purchase it, and then they hear the coffee and go, alright. They pass a couple of drinks over. For a copper, get a coffee. It's a little bit better than Tim Hortons, but you don't trust it yet. It's kind of a new product. You make your way out of the gates and start making your way up north. So as you guys are traveling, who's ahead of the group? Who's behind? What are your positions on the wagon? Is anybody on foot, or are you all sitting on it?
Yeah, like we paid extra to get a nice little bench for me, and I'm going to take full use of that.
Yeah, absolutely. If there are no objections, I feel like Diesel would be driving.
Yeah, I'm willing to sit on the bench, ready to jump out at any thieves or burglars or
Or people in need of help.
anything that looks vaguely threatening.
Alright, so
Or helpless.
Diesel's got the reins.
Yes.
Todd's is kind of sitting in cozy behind on the wide bench with Hearts. Hearts has his own spot, but has moved onto the bench because Squirrel Dog's free, man.
Friendship.
And up on the front bench, alongside Diesel, we have Chicken, who's running shotgun, in case anything runs out. So you guys are heading to the first place you're heading is Mason's Fork, up here. So, who's at the head of the group again? Who's keeping an eye out? It's Chicken on shotgun, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Alright.
I'll keep my
7
head on a swivel.
So, 7 of Spades. You take 7 damage navigating your way around a wagon. You give them a quick, hey, is everything alright? But they wave you on and say, yeah, sure. You can see they're in the middle of fixing up their own wagon and keep moving. Replacing one, looks like a broken wheel. They toss it over to the side, but by the time you're passing, you can see them get the draft animal up and ready to move again. Moving at reasonable speed with no obstructions. You guys are away from the Great Forest where you're just around like normal sized trees. Mostly pines, but some deciduous. You're moving very slightly uphill.
I feel like I'd like to have a little bag full of, like, I don't know, bugs or something.
I'm just fiddling with this real quick.
Bugs. What are you doing with bugs?
Eat them.
Well, that's sort of the thought I was going for. I also have some experiments that I'd like to try. So I'm gonna have some bugs just like in a little bag, mainly at all times.
A
Yeah.
Ziploc bag of bugs.
So
Yeah, but not sealed so they can like breathe and stuff. I feel like more like a burlap sack, but like a miniature version, just like full of bugs.
well, we didn't mention it at character creation. So you've got a sack, but you haven't acquired bugs for it yet.
Yes, I have my sack ready to catch bugs, but I have not acquired any of those yet, so I'm gonna keep my eyes out exclusively for bugs and maybe some cool rocks or something.
So throughout
Throw the rocks in there with the bugs.
Yeah, give them a little home.
Throughout the early morning, you make it about 9 kilometers, making some decent headway. At this point, you pass an intersection up towards a couple of different hamlets, and you can see that there's another vehicle making a turn. There is a van that reads Northern Alliance Monster Services. If you guys are part of a small crew, Northern Alliance is one of your major competitors up here. They're bigger than you.
Take them down.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
What? No. No. Team. Hold together. Stay calm. Play this cool.
They give you a
You
little...
do it like real sneaky style, though.
Yeah.
They give you a little wave and turn up the road like regular other people traveling up and down the road.
Yeah, see, no worries. There's lots of people to save, plenty for everyone.
Does somebody
I feel
want to
like
roll
I'm
understand?
Yes, I want to do that. I think I actually have the somewhat best. But yeah, I feel like the relationship we have with Northern Alliance is very similar to the one that Timmy Turner's dad has with Dinkelberg. We're like, he's just really pleasant and has never done anything, wrong.
Yeah.
But we still hate them. 13.
13. There's not going to be any confrontation, so you give a little wave back and you look forward. And then as you pass, you turn around to look at them, and someone in their backseat turns around to look at you, and then there's trees between you.
I'm gonna squint.
No squinting. It's
just
fine.
a little bit, so that it's right before we go behind the trees, so if they call us on it, I could be like, oh, I just, couldn't see you very well. But then, give a little wink or something. Just so they know that it's a hateful stare.
No hate. No hate in this battalion.
Bad news.
You make it another 8k northward. So far, everything seems to be going fine. Is Chicken still on shotgun? Or is somebody switching out?
I'll stay on shotgun.
I like the idea of me staying on top, kind of in my little wag, like a booster seat, but for adults,
Yeah.
Alright.
For small adults.
So, Chicken, you take 4 damage. You encounter a bit of difficulty. You have more pull than you need for your wagon, because you might have to tow a wagon. So it's easy to get through, you just have to kind of usher the ox through a bit of a rut in the road. That being said, fixing ruts isn't your job, you're just there to clear broken wagons, anything like that. You haven't really seen any of them yet. By now you've been traveling through the late morning and it's almost lunch. How's everybody feeling?
I forget what my health is.
Great.
By default, your health would start at, if you don't have another number, it would just start at 100. Right along the tired and ready threshold.
I'm feeling tired/ready.
Alright.
That's me every day, actually.
Constant state.
Yeah.
Even along through the lunch hour, you make your way along past another intersection up to a couple of hamlets. From there you can see that there's a high road that passes along you, a thin, kind of wavery one. It's a few 100 kilometers away, kind of up a landform. You're starting to go gradually upward and you can see mountains to the north of you.
The north.
You end up not quite hitting Mason's Fork at lunch. You're gonna have to keep traveling. Do you guys have trail rations on you, or are you just gonna stay hungry until you hit town?
I have 7 days of trails rations on me.
What are all your... Well, a trail ration's a personal thing, and you guys every day go out onto the road and leave town and do this kind of thing. What's in all of your lunch boxes?
Okay, listen. This is actually based on a real guy, Matt, who ate these things he would call shark teeth,
Already
which
hate this.
which was essentially, so imagine trail mix
Mm-hmm.
with a bit of peanut butter for protein, and like there was no meat. It was all plant material, but instead of being like a mix, he had pulverized it into a consistent homogeneous paste, and then formed it into a brick, and then he baked them in his oven to dry them out so they would keep. And then every day he would grab one of those and like just have it. And
So this dude was like he was ultra granola tier, like making his bars.
Yeah, and then he would have like a thermos of like a fruit smoothie. And so I feel like Diesel A Spade carries with him at all times 7 hero bricks.
That's really gross.
Oh, are you ready for?
See, you say that, but I've had them. They're really good.
Are you ready for something that's actually kind of gross? Like that sounds delightful. Like consistency might be a little bit of a struggle, but the content is good. The content is strong.
Wait, so it's a brick of peanut butter mixed with vegetables?
Essentially, yeah. It's
That
like,
has
it's like,
been baked in an oven.
like hardtack
Brick
instead of
of
bread. It's like
peanut butter
vegan
mixed
bread.
with vegetables?
But bread's already pretty vegan, so
That
it's
has
like,
been baked. I hate that.
A person that I know, their pretty standard lunch meal, we'll say,
yeah.
is one of those minute rice cups. So you just like put it in the microwave,
Mm-hmm.
heat it up. In that, you mix in a couple of tablespoons of Kraft macaroni and cheese, like KD.
Okay.
Tuna. A can of V8 juice.
Oh no!
And get like ranch 3 cheese dressing.
Nope. They're lying to you.
And they mix that up in front of my visual eyeballs. I can visually see this going together. And then they put it in the microwave at just shocking levels.
So microwave second time.
Yeah, to soak in the flavor.
Of course.
That's just Bachelor Chow from Futurama.
It is.
That's like someone who doesn't have taste buds going, you know what would be optimally nutritional?
Yeah!
Like,
and
I'm sure that's a really powerful lunch meal that really gets you energy through the day. But I like enjoying my food.
I know, and sometimes it has, like, frozen vegetables mixed into it. And I'm just like, no, please. I can't do it.
Gross.
It, like, the first time I watched it prepared, I actually, like, was, physically shocked. Like, just, I was like, what am I
That person
witnessing?
must not have, like, very good taste buds, and that's the only way that they could taste anything, is to just make the most horrendous concoction of a mixture so that they can have any sort of feeling in the world, because
they're daring
they're
their
empty
body
inside.
to stop them.
Yeah.
To go in the
Like,
opposite
they're empty
direction.
inside, and all the only thing that will satisfy their empty soul is V8 juice and ranch dressing mixed together.
It's so bad.
So I think that's the sort of, I don't know, like, not the idea that I'm going for. I'm thinking...
You're trying to steer as far away from that as possible, I hope.
Yes, so I'm sort of thinking, like...
Like potted beans and meat or something. Like you take out a little clay pot and just go...
Yeah, and the meat is going to be mashed up bugs. Like crickets, good content. Maybe a cockroach or something, love it. Crunchy, good content.
Huh.
The thing that we always used to take going out on like trips and stuff like that, we would call it GORP. It stood for good old raisins and peanuts, but Gorp is not defined by its raisins and peanuts. Like, if you don't have raisins and peanuts in your Gorp, you assume someone's allergic to the raisins and peanuts. What it is you have trail mix, usually raisins, usually peanuts if you can, and M&Ms. It's defined by the M&Ms, but you don't mention the M&Ms in the name. Because, like, the opposite of the tuna bowl, this is, like, something designed to give you secret soul nourishment. It's like, I'm eating trail mix, I'm being a good boy, I'm having crunchies, I'm having crispies, I'm having raisins, I get M&Ms now.
Yeah, if you're out on the trail, you are, by definition, burning off all the calories the M&Ms are putting in your body. That's why you are eating, you know? It's fine. Shut up.
Nice, too, because it's like, if you have the trail mix, which has a lot of, like, the carbs, if you have the peanuts that have the protein, and you have the chocolate that has the sugar in it, then that's like a full energy curve. You have the immediate sugar, the carb slow burn, and the fat long burn, you know?
That's true.
Anyway, speaking of a fat long burn, I say that like I'm going to go smoke a joint. I'm going to go take a piss real quick.
Speaking of fat long burn, that's what I named my genitals. Like,
what?
I don't know. I thought that was Will's joke.
I see.
Someone tried to convince me today, like, obviously not knowing that I know, like, how it works, that when men get their tubes tied, they just cut off one of the testicles.
Only one, though.
Just only one. Only the one. Only the one.
Well, they have to get in there.
Only one.
Just one test. They just snip it right off.
Yeah. Well, that's how they get in there to the tubes to tie it.
Get that out of there. Get it out of there. Don't eat it.
Yeah.
Ew. What?
You don't eat it anymore.
Oh, I said don't eat it.
I heard don't eat it, too.
I mean, also a good piece of advice.
Don't eat the testicle that you just cut off.
Don't do it. It's a bad plan.
So I heard a rumor that Hitler only had one testicle, and I wanted to make a joke about that, but I'm like, should I mention Hitler and his one testicle? Is that weird?
Yeah.
So are we talking about Hitler's one ball?
Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, we were just talking about how when men get, like, their tubes tied, you just lop off one of the testicles.
It is known. It's funny because, like, when you think about a vasectomy, it, like, as someone who is a testicle owner, it's inherently terrifying. But when you try to decouple yourself from that and think about it as a surgery, it's, like, the safest. It's just the idea.
You're scared of getting You're frightened of the idea of getting a vasectomy.
And
it's
reversible, is it not?
Yeah, it totally is.
Like,
no, it's just I just don't like the idea of someone snipping into my balls. Which, like, you know, that's why you like get anesthetic and knock yourself out, right?
Yeah. That's the McElroy brothers have a good bit about that, where one of them's getting a vasectomy and he goes in and the doctor is like, okay, here's the deal. I'm gonna grab your balls really hard to see how your pain tolerance is. And he does it. And the guy's like, yeah, that hurt a lot, but I'm still awake. And the doctor's like, oh, well, that's good. Some people pass out. He's like, Doc, if I pass out, do it right now. I ain't paid for anesthetic. Like, get in there before I wake up.
So it's the early afternoon. You guys are continuing to travel along. You traveled through lunch. Who was keeping an eye out during lunch?
I'll be keeping an eye out while my friends are eating. I have to pick a different voice for this guy. That's really starting to hurt the old voice words.
It is aggressive. It is a bit like
Yeah.
I've never made a voice for any of my characters because I don't want to have to keep it up.
That's true. Maybe instead of the gravelly "I'll help you," it's more of like the Optimus Prime clarity, like the "I'll help you."
I'll help you. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Gives a lot more
longevity. I was thinking about doing like a really fun accent, and then I tried it before the first session, and then I was like, wow, no.
I can do a good goblin voice for 15 seconds, and then I can't do it for another 30 days.
Yep.
Well, that's the problem. Like, whenever you try to do, like, a legit accent, if you fall out of it, you're done. You're donezoed. You can't get, like, you're done. You gotta restart your brain and try again next time.
Yep.
Speaking of Dunzo, Queen of Spades, 10 damage.
Oh!
As you're stopping by for lunch, there's a couple of people on the road who are having trouble with one of their draft animals. Doing your part, you stop over, you help them soothe it and keep it moving. Takes a bit of effort though, but you're still moving along. Who's keeping an eye out in the early afternoon as you guys get closer to town?
Like, I guess I will, because I haven't done one yet, and everybody else has taken damage, so... No, I can't! I have, like, no armor. No, you guys can take damage.
No, well,
it doesn't make a
armor
difference
doesn't matter for
mechanically.
this.
Yeah.
No, but when it does matter, you have protection and I don't.
Yeah, we'll be able to hop in and help you. It's just flat damage. You just it's like flat damage. The armor or anything doesn't have anything to do with it.
And it's 4 damage. There's something that tries to dare to jump out at you. You give it a quick, like, yell. You take out your hatchet and shield and, like, bang them together, getting ready, and it's enough to scatter this thing off into the woods. That being said, the haste of drawing your weapons and sheathing them in a second, works you up and then brings you back down. You make it a solid 9k into the town of Mason's Fork during the late afternoon. It's still business hours. You can see people coming and going. The town's reasonably busy. There's a tavern. There's a couple of other things to do. Outside the tavern, kind of close to the town square, just right next to it, there's a guard tower. And there's a bunch of people sitting on, like, benches nearby. You can see they look like adventurers and monster hunters. They've got sacks that are all bloodied. A couple of them just have the heads out in the open next to them on the benches. Various creatures, they're chatting about what the game's like around here and what the contracts are like. What are you guys doing?
Well, I mean, we're supposed to be patrolling the open road, eh?
Yep.
But,
Yeah, I feel like town is the opposite of that, and we have to win. We have to save the most people.
But I will say there is one thing we can do that's good in here, and that's asking for tips. If anybody has a son that went off to smooch his girlfriend in the woods and hasn't come back or something.
Mm-hmm.
We do that though, or like do we do like car repair? Like, are we a tow truck that also saves people who have disappeared? Like, what's...
The opportunity arises. You cannot afford to not save someone.
Okay, so we're like we're a rescue service.
Yeah, you are part of Allied Independent Monster Services, which is your whole company. You guys specialized in road crew stuff, same way that the Firehouse Force specialize in emergency response, and the Cleansing Lights specialize in, like, cleanup and investigation stuff. But really, all of you, when it comes down to it, you gank monsters. It sounds like not too much is going on. The way that the people outside the guard tower are talking, it sounds like a couple of big contracts just got brought in. Not a lot going on. As you make your way out of town, you pass by the Cheese House, a local eatery. It smells like cheese.
I love cheese.
So during the
Cheese
late
is great.
afternoon, you're back on the road. Who's keeping an eye out?
We'll keep an eye out.
Alright. King of Diamonds. There's a couple of people going down the road who, like, you see something jump out at them real quick. How would you respond to a threat on the road in terms of combat?
Being ready to fight, ready to be aggressive.
If there's somebody that's walking down the road and there's, like, anything coming at them, I'm leaping off that wagon axe first.
Mm-hmm.
Don't fear, I shall protect you.
So sitting on shotgun and getting ready, looking out for anything coming ahead, you jump out as these travelers are beset by something, but you clattering along real loud with your armor is enough to scare it off. They look grateful, and it gives you a bit of a sense of pride. You gain 10 health.
Nice.
In the meanwhile, you start heading along the eastern road. You're up in the mountains at this point. You can see that around you is, stones and crags, but to the south and to the west of you, easily within the horizon, is a whole swath of pine trees with little deciduous trees popping up now and again. With the hill on your side, you make marked progress. This thing keeps resizing while I'm trying to move it. Sorry about that. Please say funny things while I'm trying to do this.
Oh, you don't want me to default to try and say a funny thing. Oh boy.
Whenever somebody asks me to say literally anything, or they're like, haha, say the first thing that comes to your mind, I'm like, do I have one of those?
Okay, I don't know what the fuck is happening with this map right now, but it makes me want to throw myself into the sea.
Sure. Love it. Here for it.
Yeah. It's resizing as you move it. It's
Drive
wild.
into the river, Bob.
Oh. If I hold the directional keys, it's moving. There we go.
There you go.
Here we go.
The mouse they gave me at work double clicks when I single click, which means that it's impossible to do anything with it, which is pretty fun. Cool.
Can you ask for another mouse?
I don't know, probably.
Okay, I'm settling. This is too much technical difficulty. I'm just moving on.
Yeah,
I think that's the right choice.
Sometimes you just gotta, take that damage and move on.
Yeah.
We're gonna deal with this between streams.
Yeah.
But you'd be a bit further than that. By the time it's getting close to dinner time, you're on the far side of really just the tip of the mountains. They spread far to the north of you, but that's not the direction you're going. You go back down south, but the trees are getting sparser. The land's looking a bit more barren, a bit more flat. It's not devoid of vegetation, it's still rich. There's mosses and trees and branches, but compared to where you were, things are starting to sparse out. What's everybody doing?
I'm keeping my eyes keenly peeled for people in need of help.
You find them. There is a broken wagon, it looks like. Reasonably easy job, but one that isn't just in passing, like you're actually going to have to stop. These people, it looks like were trying to get to the nearest town. They seem to have packed it in and decided to camp for the night. They've got their tents set up and they're starting to get dinner ready, but you can see a broken wheel from a mile away. The whole wagon's tilted.
Oh. All right then, everyone. Keep calm, places. We only get one shot at this. First impressions are everything.
All right. Who's our social person to hop down and ask them if they need any help?
Oh wait, what do you have, Gabe?
I have a bit of social.
Yeah, I've got +3 social.
I have +3 social and 3 dots in convince.
I've
Perfect.
got
You should do that.
atypical.
So yeah, as we're pulling up, I'm passing the reins over to Chicken Club and kind of jumping off, going, "Hello there, citizen. Might we offer our expert assistance?"
They look a little bit confused at a random person stopping on the road.
Do
you have an explanation, or do you have just like a roll that you want to make for, hi, do you need help?
So as I jumped off, the wagon... Okay, picture this, right? I'm jumping off to go ahead of the wagon. And when they look at me weirdly, as the wagon rolls by, I kind of do a dramatic, ha-ha! To perfectly reveal the logo of our monster hunting and towing guild as way of explanation.
Alright, so you're like, hey, anything you need help with? And the wagon slowly comes to a stop behind you. It says Allied Independent Monster Services. And then it says Jack O. Spades, Road Response.
You see, it's a pun. The highest form of humor.
Yeah, we how much do you need? We don't really have a lot of. I don't know if we're signed up with your company or.
Nonsense, friend. It's money is no object when it comes to helping the innocent.
False.
So how do you stay in business?
Exactly.
Hang on, I'm receiving a conflicting report.
So do we usually charge for this? Like, do we have to ask these people for money? Like, what?
If this were to just happen on the
Yes.
road, you would charge, but because you've been assigned to this route, you're supposed to just pick them up and you get paid when you get back.
Oh, okay.
But they don't know that.
Yeah, they don't know that.
Nonsense. You see, we get paid to help people out of the goodness of our hearts.
No,
It's
that's
our job.
false. That's
How much
so
do
wrong.
we? Okay, we need to know, like, what's our
No, I
standard
think-
rate?
I think our strat is we know that we have a contract to get paid our base rate. So when people say, "Oh, how much do you charge?" we say, "We charge whatever you think is feasible for you in your time of need." Because then they feel supported, we get money, also we get more money.
So the way I'm going to rule it is, feel free to keep having the conversation, but Diesel comes out in his, rescue hero gear. He goes, "Hello, how can I help you? We're with the monster services," and starts to negotiate. And in the background, you have one, armor-covered fighter and one, bandit-looking kind of rapscallion going, "Yeah, but, we should be charging, right? We don't tell them that we do this for..." And meanwhile, Diesel's there going, "Okay, so you need a new wagon wheel, huh? Do you guys...
A good day's work is payment enough.
Do you guys have a wagon wheel?"
Well,
No.
we don't have
We don't have an extra
pretty
one.
handy with tools. We have the tools to fix them, and we have things to keep you safe from monsters for the night.
Alright, so how are you dealing with their broken wagon wheel?
Can I roll?
I feel like we should have spare wagon wheels in our trailer.
Definitely a thing we should do for next time.
Yeah.
Do one of
I'm
you
gonna
wanna
roll
roll-
under.
This is one of the things that would be reasonably expected of you. Do you want to roll barter? Somebody for, retroactively the contract you made?
Ooh.
Yes.
Yeah, I can roll barter, but I feel that might be.
If you guys all are trained, you could collectively bargain.
Yeah, I've got barter as well.
Okay, I'm not trained in barter, so
Well, do you have dots or no dots?
I have exactly 1 dot in barter.
Okay, if you took a dot and it's not just the d6 you get for free, then you can
Yes.
help. Otherwise, you need the helper trait to help.
I have neither of those things.
Oh, I have helper. Yeah.
Okay, so you get plus 10 because you're helping with the negotiation. Give me a roll together.
Alright. I'm gonna roll barter. That's a 10 in my pocket.
All right.
12.
A 10 and a 12. For...
Oh wait, do I get to add my? Sorry, I also have a +3. So
Yep.
15. Plus 15 for me.
Damn.
Alright. Back when you guys signed the contract, you mentioned this exact eventuality. And instead of ending up in a situation where they give you a stipend or they give you recommendations on where to get things, you reached an agreement where, more or less, if you buy things, they'll give you the cash after you get back. Otherwise, when you show up back at the garage, they fill you up. So you have 25 coppers worth of wagon repair materials.
Ooh.
Can I roll? Could I get away with rolling doctor on a wagon? Because I'm trying to figure out what is sick with the wagon wheel and how me, a doctor, can save the wagon wheel from death and peril.
As long as you use physical as your base skill, and someone else fundamentally is actually fixing it, I'll allow it. But only if
Yeah!
someone else is
Can I-
actually doing it.
Can I roll Gadgeteer?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Wait, are we
Oh.
both rolling, or am I just gonna roll?
Yeah, you both
Or
roll.
sorry, are you just gonna roll?
Well, I got a 14.
14.
A 14 for Gazetteer.
Alright. So with a 14, you take out the aforementioned jack, you crank this thing up, keep it braced, put a chalk under to make sure it's good. From there, you quickly put this thing on and crank it, give it a quick smack, take out some of your tools, because with some of this stuff you end up having to just go shove when you're on the road, but it's easier if you actually have a mallet, you can align it correctly with some help.
I got 25 for Doctor, also.
Damn.
Now that the wagon's repaired, you chime in with a bit of information. Some of the cross beams have some slight sagging and splintering around the brake. Based on where the wagon wheel broke, the damage initially with the wagon wheel break would have been nothing, but because it smacked and dragged along the ground, you can even see some scraping marks. That might affect the frame, so maybe not this time, but if it breaks a couple more times, you recommend that they would want to go and actually get the wagon reinforced. They are grateful for the help and their wagon's repaired.
Nice.
Oh!
They're still light
That
out.
felt good.
It's dinner time. You guys could stop for the night, keep going in the morning. Depends on what your work schedule's like day to day. You guys work for like a co-op that has individual teams that sign on, so you have a much more democratic workplace than other people. What kind of schedule have you negotiated for yourselves?
I feel like it would be cool to do like a couple days on, couple days off, like X number of days on, and like 3 days off or something. Like
Yeah.
Sort of like that.
Like a 3 on, 2 off sort of thing.
Yeah.
But like when we're on, we're on, you know, we're fully on. None of this 9 to 5 stuff. This is like
Okay. So do you do a road dinner and move until it's dusk?
Yeah, I think we do a road dinner and move until it's dusk.
Okay. So you dip back into the trail rations, you finish the last of your hero bar. There's a couple more bites of like bean and cockroach spread. What about chicken? What do you have for your trail rations?
Probably like leftover potatoes and smoked meat. You know, like typical, it's pretty standard stuff. Not anything like a peanut butter bar.
A big bag of bacon.
So you go
That's a
into
little gross.
you go into your lunchbox and you take out, you know, like from your perspective, you're unwrapping something you made earlier that you can eat. You know, you've got some little strips of fried potato and some beef jerky, but really this is the equivalent of like you stopped at a gas station, you got a bag of chips and some beef jerky, and now you're eating them out of the passenger's seat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is like my favorite way to eat. Let's be real.
Yeah.
That's the fucking
Yeah.
But that is also how you have bad poops for like the next week.
Yeah.
Also,
But that's the risk you gotta take.
Daoloth, thanks for the follow. So you guys are keeping on moving. The rest of them, they're having some nice leisurely travels, but they get to stop for dinner while you guys are continuing on through the evening hours. Who's keeping an eye out on the road?
I will keep an eye out.
Alright. It's a 5 of spades.
Yeah.
You gain 5 health. As you make your way along the road, you see some people, and you just quickly give them a heads up like, hey, road assistance, need any help? Everyone's good, but they seem to be comforted by the fact that there is some, you know, presence along these roads, that they're not just traveling alone on a paved stretch of monster territory.
Yeah.
Downhill is definitely helping you. You're still technically going through work hours, but you pass through a full and proper village on the way up to Port Mossy Rock. It's late, and they have an inn that's, you know, hustling and bustling. You can hear the sound of people talking and music playing inside. Do you stop at all, or keep going through the evening until it's like the early night and time to settle down?
We should probably stop now.
Because then we can kind of wander around the town, see if there are any
Yeah.
like contracts maybe that or people have noticed something is amiss that we can go help out with maybe.
Yeah.
Alright, sounds good. I will find a place to park the wagon.
Luckily, in like a village or a hamlet, it's pretty easy to find space. They allow you to do it in the town square. Once you get to a proper town or a city, you need to find a parking space. But here, you can just kind of pull up. It's also very easy because you just walk across the town square, you ask around at like the merchant quarter, you ask around at the tavern, that kind of thing. Ask around at the guardhouse. There's not that many travelers around here. You can see an ad for like the local monster hunters based in both Port Mossy Rock and Mason's Fork, as well as a couple of ads for competing monster services that cover different sections of territory. Doesn't look like a lot of contracts yet, which is to say, you look through and you see plenty of jobs, but they're not your jobs. They're like, oh, we need a group of like 3 intrepid adventurers to go explore a plundered mine. But what you guys do is you approach those people and you offer them second chance insurance for when they fail. Because you guys have far more infrastructure, you have backup, you have tools, you have equipment. You're the big guys.
Yeah. We're professional best.
Professionals. Ready?
Can I ask around to see if anybody needs like healing or doctor style services?
As you ask around, you hear that there is a doctor in town who's closed for the night. He'll be open in the morning, but the doctor is understaffed and would probably pay a couple of extra coins to have a little bit of help in passing. That being said,
yeah,
I'd
be down to do that
tomorrow.
Well, are we gonna stay here for the night? Like, I feel like
We'll stay here for the night, but then we'll leave at dawn, right?
Yeah, like get out in the morning.
But what if there are adventurers that need our assistance in the witching hour?
We also need to sleep.
Yeah.
Sleep is part of bodily purity and whatnot.
You're right.
Yeah, you gotta fuel your machine.
So, when you guys set up camp inside of a town, what does that look like? What tents and bedrolls do you have?
I have a tent and a bedroll.
As do I.
I also have a tent and a bedroll.
Okay, so by default a tent is 2-person, but if you guys have been in a 2-person tent, you know how small that is. So all of you have tents big enough that you can like plonk your armor and your bag next to you inside the tent, get nice and cozy.
Yeah, well, and I have a dog that needs somewhere to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Although you went through the trouble when you put together your wagon of having a space for Hearts. So Hearts has a place to sleep and a place to sit all day.
Yes. But, you know, he gets bored. He wants to mix it up.
Hearts
mix up where he's sleeping.
Sniffs around.
That's most of it. I think most of it of a dog's day is mixing up where they're sleeping.
So you guys have a bit of waking hours in the evening when people are kind of coming and going from the tavern. Is there anything else you do with your time, or do you get an early night?
I feel like early night to get an early day probably is a good idea.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Okay. You guys, if other people wake up like at dawn to start work in the early morning, you guys have woken up at twilight to get a start at dawn. The night was well covered because there's local guards who are able to help you out, but once you're out on the own, you're back on your own. You throw together your tent, your bedrolls. It's too early for people to really be moving around. Occasionally when you move about this early, you see like, you know, a farmer having a pipe and scratching his ass. They're not really working this early. But they are up. What do you guys do?
Well, better hit the road. You never know when disaster might strike.
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah, I feel like that's probably the best idea. I'm gonna, while we're packing things up, I'm gonna wander around and see if I can catch some bugs. Get my stuff ready for the day. Do I find any bugs?
There's an oil lantern outside the tavern that's attracting moths.
I want as many as I can catch.
In terms of snack food, a moth is a lot like Smart Food popcorn. It's dry, it's crispy, it has a lot of air, and it goes crunch.
I'm also going to be running experiments with these. So some of them I will be eating, some of them I will be using for science.
Alright. Do you want to roll for this, like spend your morning doing it, or is this just like in passing you grabbed a couple of moths for later?
No, like I'm gonna fully roll for it. I want to know how many resources I get of moth. I would like to have a hard number.
What's your...
Spend the morning putting their tent away and stuff.
Yay!
So what's the roll you're using?
I don't know, and I can't see my character sheet because the kitty's sitting on it.
Aww.
Absolutely.
Race, maybe? Or delicate? It depends if you want these moths alive or not, I think.
Could be science, could be
you...
foraging.
Yeah, how long do you think a moth will keep in a bag if it's dead?
You're talking about a moth keeping, you're talking about having them for experience. Roll for experiments, roll science.
No, you're not helping. I'm gonna guess. We're gonna go for a hard guess here, knowing that I have no choice in this. She's just actively sitting on top of the character sheet, and then I leaned over to see if I could peek at it, and she turned her head this far away from my head and was like, "Hello, can I help you, sir?"
You went over
I think
to
every
your
cat is a
character sheet, and
Karen.
your character sheet checked you.
Okay, so I got an 8, I think.
Alright, with an 8, you've got a couple of decent specimens. 8 coppers worth of moth.
Okay,
Depending on who will buy a moth, of course. Right. It's a hypothetical copper value.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm fine with the hypothetical copper value because the experiments that I will be running will have a copper value at the end, so
okay,
that's good.
Who's keeping an eye out through dawn as you guys travel?
I will.
Alright. You gain 6 health.
This is going really well for me.
It's a quiet, pleasant wind. It's just kind of a gentle push, not like a bone-chilling pull. And you can see over the wasteland, there's peaks, little hills and valleys. The area's been scoured by erosion and time and wind. Overall, it's rocky and barren, but you can see the glimmering of lichens and mosses that come and go. And as the light starts to fill through to the early morning, you can see that this place is a lot more rich in color once you get used to looking around. You keep a steady forward progress, making your way all the way up to a hamlet. There's not a lot of people coming and going. It's the dawn hour, they're just getting up to their business, starting up the farms and tending to the ranches around here. You see a lot more cattle ranching around here. It's easy to get hay brought in from elsewhere. Or they can graze on the mosses.
Anyone need medical assistance?
Things are looking pretty fine.
Oh no.
It's quiet. It's kind of before they get up to the real meat and potatoes of their work. Who's keeping an eye out as you move a bit further along?
I'll go this round.
Alright. Roll some dice for distance. Alright. You're making your way along a long stretch of road. You can actually see, based on the topography, way up ahead there's going to be a turnoff that leads to a hamlet, but that's past a rise off in the distance where it blends with the horizon a little. But in the distant beiges and greens of the area around here, and keep in mind mossy and lichenous bluey greens, you see a patch of red.
Patch of red?
Like, what type of red? Like liquid red or
solid red?
Once you get over
gaseous.
Another rise, you can see that there's a toppled wagon and the remains of a horse. It has... With the business you're in, you can tell at a moment's glance fresh blood. Fresh blood.
Okay. All right, team. This is serious. No time for games. And I turn, and you've already both leapt into action, and I'm actually the last one off the wagon because I stopped to tell you what to do.
Like, if it's initiative order, everyone else chose. I take my wagon, I jump off the wagon and I grab my weapons, and then you chose, alright, team.
Yeah, exactly.
I think I'm gonna run to the deceased animal to see if I can get a little bit more information about what type of event caused this.
I'm gonna look for survivors.
And
As am I. I'm sending Hearts O'Brien out to sniff out some survivors.
So, I'm not going to put up a battle map because it's a very boring battle map if it was one. But imagine, for this scenario, just a long, straight east-west road, a long span of north and south barrens, and throughout them just spackles of big rocks here and there that come and go with the heave and flow of the terrain. One of you heads north, the other one heads south. Which one's which?
What side of the road is the cart on?
It is slightly to one side, but it's clearly, like, it's been attacked midway through traveling, and the way it toppled into the road. It blocks it centrally, and it's on its side.
Okay, I'll go north. Head up the road.
Okay, so who do we follow first? The investigation, the north direction, or the south direction?
I think the investigation makes a lot of sense, right?
Yeah, because then we can figure out, like, if there's damage of a nefarious kind to go smartly.
All right.
Or
instantly,
safely.
within the time that you can, like, as everyone's going, okay, I'll go north, you go south, all of you, based on your job, this is a monster attack. Do you want to give me a roll for specifics?
Yeah, so I'm gonna go for doctor, just to see if I can, like, recognize wounds, like if there's any, like, poison or something like that, too.
Okay.
$20 for doctor.
20 doctor. This thing died quickly but brutally. You can see, based on its midsection, this is like an animalistic monster attack. This wasn't... when you talk about animal attacks, for your industry, it's like a low-level thing, like, oh, it's just a wolf or a bear. Monsters are different. They can often be magically influenced. They can be things like demons that literally just want to hurt things, not even kill them. Sometimes they're malevolent, and sometimes they're just beastly. And this is a very bestial attack. Whatever this thing was, it came upon this animal and feasted on kind of the core of it. You notice, however, a very distinctive mark. This thing was killed by a tremendous bludgeoning force to its head. Who do we follow next, north or south?
South.
Okay. Give me a roll for whatever you're doing, unless you're just quietly keeping an eye out as you move along.
Yeah, I think I'm just kind of looking for clues, I guess. Looking for the monster.
Okay. I'll put a pin in it.
Okay.
But you find something. You definitely find something. Let's go to north
Okay.
because you find something and it's better for tension.
Okay.
What about you? What are you doing for the search?
Well, I have my axe in both hands, holding it out, ready to swing it at something. I know it's a monster, so you don't necessarily want to be making tons of noise, but I'm talking to Hearts of Brawn. I'm going, all right, boy, it's up to you. Sniff him out. What do you smell?
Hearts starts scampering off, and as he goes around a corner, you can hear, "Doggy!" and then an adult voice going, "Quiet, quiet."
All right, I'm making my way over there quietly.
You turn the corner right as they turn over and see you. Hearts O'Brien is interacting with, it looks like a smaller child and an older woman. Not like older, like middle age. There's a distinct familial resemblance between them. You reckon like mother and child. Once they see you, it's like the thing that they were trying to stay quiet for. They're like, oh god, it's not that. But they're still on edge. Something happened.
Yeah, I think with that I go, what happened here?
To the south,
We need to...
you see a couple of blood-stained footprints, and then you hear, "Get down to cover!" from one side, and you hear the sound of someone loading a blunderbuss. At the same time, in an opposite direction, you hear the sound of something thundering in.
Oh.
It's a fight.
It's a fight.
Wait.
What type of people or things are involved in this fight?
So, there's someone wounded, it looks like, to the south. There's 2 people who are safe to the north. In the middle, between the 2 along the road, is the carcass and your wagon. To the south, coming along at like a 45-degree angle towards the center of the battlefield, is something the size of like a smart car, almost like an armadillo. It seems to have balled itself up to roll towards you.
Ooh.
Can I run to our wagon to see if I can move it to cover?
Mm-hmm.
Paying close attention to, like, getting our horse... Wait, ox? Ox. Getting our ox to, like, a relatively safe position, because I don't want that to die. That'd be super inconvenient.
Alright. You make your way up to the wagon, you clamber on with the aid of the ride bars, makes it nice and quick. With the thundering, you just go like, go, go! And that's enough for the ox to get up and start getting some movement to pull the wagon. It looks like this creature isn't attracted to the ox for now. It's attracted mostly to chicken, but there isn't a lot of cover. There's big rocks and small rocks, but this is like a wide, flattish wasteland that comes and goes in waves. If you can get over the next landform, this thing won't be able to see you. But you might want to just, like, give the ox a good slap and get off if you want to stay in the battlefield.
So I take it that the wagon is moving northwards because south is where the monster is.
The road goes east-west.
Ah, beans. Okay. Beans.
So you're furthest from the fight right now, but you're close to 2 survivors.
Yeah, I was gonna try and get them on the wagon. I feel like I'm going, everything's gonna be okay. We'll get you to the wagon. And then I look and see our wagon is thundering down the road. And I go,
Diamonds, east or west?
Oh, that's my name.
yeah.
I was
Okay.
like, what's that?
So you can see the wagon going east. From here, you could probably lead them from crag to crag stealthily if you wanted to. Or you
And
could
I'm
give
not
them
aiming to,
direction.
like, just book it out of here with the wagon. Like, I'm just gonna get it a little bit away from the fight, and then try to, like...
There's evidence that this thing might attack a wagon.
Yeah, okay.
So
in that
I'm doing
case,
my best to kind of shelter it, and then hopefully we can send the people to it.
In that case, I am going to scoop up the kid, because he's probably doesn't run very fast, and then I'm going to use Tactician to give 2 off turns to the lady. And I guess I take my turn and an off turn, and I'm just like, we're booking it to the wagon. You stay close to me. We're getting you to that wagon.
Alright, so you give directions, you plot out a course, you go, 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 and you pick up this guy. You're a massive red Torg with like a small Volpe child, so you just whoop fireman carry, book, and you start moving east perpendicular. You are very far from the creature right now, meanwhile the wagon is being moved clear of the fight. Up to the north, however, there's someone injured loading up a blunderbuss, and Chicken is facing down this thing rolling along at full speed. It is within run up and smack distance of you, but it's faster than you, and you're heavily armored. What's the plan?
I want to fight it. I want to fight it first. I'm going to intercept this thing.
Alright, as it's moving up on you, you start walking forward. It's moving at high speed in a roll towards you. How do you attack?
probably, because it's at a distance, I'm going to elemental it first.
Right. What does this cast look like, and what damage type is it?
I'm gonna go with... We're in like a desert right now, aren't we?
Like a northern desert? It's very cold.
It's very cold. Okay.
The tundra. What do
Probably
we got?
fire then. I'm gonna do just like a bolt, sort of.
Alright, and you cast with breathing, right?
Yes.
Alright, give me some damage.
That's spicy. 18.
18. You bolt out 18 fire with just kind of a controlled belch. There's a cluster of fire that hits this thing, and you can see almost like a tire hitting a piece of birch. It kind of starts to smear around it and inflame for a second. You said how much? 16?
18.
18. Got it. It's rolling towards you nonetheless at an unabated rate. This thing makes a roaring noise from within its core, its sheltered core, and continues at full speed for... That's 23 heavy damage. Like
That's so
impact
spicy.
damage.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do is demonic lets you do a thing where and if an attack deals damage to you, so I'm gonna roll for defense first. So if it meets or exceeds it, I can roll for demonic, add the results to my threshold, and if it meets or exceeds that, then I can do that threshold in damage to that guy.
Alright.
So
it's at a 23. What's your threshold without the reaction?
Threshold without nothing is 8.
Alright, so we start at 8.
I'm gonna roll to parry, and then I will roll to parry first. We'll see.
So for flavor, this thing has a push effect with like a roll attack, so it comes along and boom, 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 and you have to move out of the way. But as you move out of the way, you're able to give it a good cleave in turn.
Perfect. Okay.
So with the parry, what's that at?
That is 20.
All right. So
and then I'm going to roll demonic on top of that. Which is a 30. So I do 30 damage.
Ooh!
Alright,
Get wrecked, bud.
You put a bit of trust in the demonic magic that you've cultivated over the years. Breathe out, breathe in a smell that's something like gasoline and gunpowder. And with a moment's trust, you feel a whiff, a burst of air next to you as something dodges, and a smack as your axe cleaves into the side of this thing for 30 damage.
Nice.
It slows to a stop to reassess its surroundings, and upon doing so, starts to clamber its way towards someone behind one of the rocks. It smacks against the rock. The guy dodges out of the way, but there's a burst of smoke and a burst of little shards of like limestone and sandstone. The guy behind that section of rock starts booking it towards another section of cover. He fires off a pot shot, but it misses. Well, misses for 4 damage.
Even if it's a miss, it's not... A miss is never a miss is never a miss, you know?
Mm-hmm. Alright, it's back to turn order. What's everybody up to?
Alright.
At this point, the wagon is clear enough that you could slow it for it to be at escape distance, or you could whack the ox for it to be gone.
I'm gonna slow it to escape distance because I don't want it to get too far. Because if we have to escape, that would be super unfortunate if we didn't have it.
Okay. Based on the terrain and your position, once you're at escape distance, you stop it where it's visible, and when you stop, turn around, and get ready to get off, you can get a really good survey of the battlefield. You see Diesel leading the family. You see the attack from this thing as it slams into this. Now that it's not just an armadillo beast in kind of a pill bug form, it unfurls, and it's something like a cross between an armadillo and a stegosaurus. It doesn't have spines, but it has a big hammer-like tail.
Ooh. Oh, God.
Nice.
So
well, I hate that.
Am I... Okay.
Wait, before you do that, can I start picking up, rocks?
Mm-hmm. Is this for the sling?
Yeah.
Okay, you quickly scamper down, you grab a mitt full, you have enough sling rocks.
And I'm hoping to confuse. So if it looks in a certain direction for too long, I'm gonna shoot a rock, to see if I can get it to keep looking around to be distracted.
Okay, so you're, the way the mechanic goes is you can take any main turn action and just use a minor action for that to be, a stored action, but instead of D&D where it's, you have to specify the trigger, you can specify the trigger so that I, as a GM, remember, but if the trigger doesn't come up, you can just switch that to any other off turn. So as it stands, you have a stone in your sling, and you're going whoomp, 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 keeping up momentum and waiting for the moment where it's ready. What are the rest of you up to?
I'm still leading that family to the wagon.
Alright, they have moved pretty quickly. With your tactician benefit and the fact that you've helped, pick up and move this kid who might be, startled or shocked or even just not moving fast because he's small, you've made some decent distance. You're about halfway there. You're far from this creature, but your friend is undefended. From here, you could leave them to try to find their way there alone and come in, double back to try and flank it from the south. Or you could lead them to the wagon and then bring up your friend from behind.
Yeah, I feel like what I am going to do is get them to the wagon, like I said I would. And then... I mean, we have a tow thing.
Mm-hmm.
That I could try and spear into... No, that's too confusing. I'm gonna get them to the wagon. That's
Okay.
That's my duty as an American citizen.
What's the action economy on that? You're wearing heavy armor, but you're also very strong, so you're not weighed down by helping carry the kid, but you are weighed down by your armor.
Yeah. So my armor, I can only move 5 on my main turn and 1 on my off turn. And I'm basically, using all of my off turns to sprint, and my main turn to sprint.
Alright, you're out of breath, which is just superficial. You catch it, and then you're ready to go back into the fight after a moment. But you manage to get them safely to the wagon, lead them up. From there, once they're on, the mom hasn't gone into shock or anything. She's ready to lead the wagon if anything bad enough happens.
I am going to... Well, first I'm going to ask, as I'm running, are you guys hurt? Are you okay?
No, my husband was, though. He went to the north to draw it away.
We're going to get you all safe. You stay in the wagon.
Alright, and chicken.
So where is this thing in reference to me?
It came from kind of the southwesterly. It rolled past you, and now it's in the road where your wagon was and the remains of the old wagon are. It's facing you down. It's recently smacked a bit of cover near you. So close to you is someone with a blunderbuss. Not very high skilled, but still ready to fight. You can see patches of blood here and there. This person might be wounded. Okay. And far to the west, you can see Diesel and Todd both coming in fast to support. You can see the movement of a sling. Todd is ready with range support.
So is Chicken in between me and the thing?
Nope, you have a clear line of sight.
So if this thing is looking at the injured man, I'm gonna see if I can, hit it on the butt to get it to turn around to hopefully not kill this innocent injured person.
Okay, it's not looking at him, but it's just as good. Right now, it's torn between the two targets, and adding a third would really confuse it. Do you attack anyways?
Absolutely.
Alright, give me a weapon roll for the sling.
This is gonna be bad.
Keep in mind you've got your off turns as well. Diesel's been burning
Okay.
all of them to get the family to the wagon.
So that's a 7. Can I use another off turn once it turns around?
What type of damage, by the way? Balanced, precise, impact, heavy? I don't remember what the version of it that I wrote down for this was.
Precise.
Okay.
I'm also gonna write that down. So yeah, I'm hoping to also see if there are any like weak spots that it doesn't like.
Okay, and you rolled how much for damage, precise? 7?
7.
Okay, you deal 14.
Ooh.
Yeah.
14.
You have a sharp, like, frequently, like, reasonably recently smashed stone. These things, the way that they hunt is they move around and they just smash cover the way that you might pick up a rock to find bugs underneath. They do that, but they do it to find, like, a terrified fox that they can devour whole. You, nonetheless, you've noted that it's heavy armor plating and, like, the hammer tail, and looking for a weak spot, you hit it right in its underbelly and it reacts angrily to a sharp stone. Anybody else taking actions?
Yes. Question. I have Battle Mage. It says, in addition, once per turn, you may add 2d6 elemental damage to a weapon attack.
Mhm.
Is that consuming an off turn?
No.
Okay. I'm going to do a weapon attack and add elemental to that.
Okay, what's the
Yeah.
weapon damage type against this enemy? Is it balanced, swift?
I didn't write this down.
Okay, you've got a Danax, which I think was impact swift. Does that seem fair? A lot of you guys have it.
Yeah, that seems fair.
Yeah, I mean, Impact's the brawn one, right?
That's
Like-
from an older version. This is more just to, like, have dynamics between armor. I haven't done it a lot in the previous campaigns, but this is all monsters all day.
Yeah. So this. Yeah, then that's good. Danax hit hard. Yeah.
Alright. So you can pick swift or impact.
I'm gonna go swift.
Alright, roll damage.
Alright.
And what's the
Would-
elemental damage added on, by the way?
Elemental damage is 2d6. I was just gonna roll it all at once.
But what, like, damage type? Is it fire, acid, force?
Fire seemed to work good last time, right? I'll go with fire again.
Okay. And for your battle magic, how do you apply the elemental damage? Is it just, like, part of your fighting style, like it's peppered in, like a quick swing and a quick belch? Or is this, like,
Yeah.
you belch onto the weapon and then it expands the cast kind of thing?
I was thinking, like, onto the weapon, but then I was thinking, like, would that damage the weapon over time? Or...
It does, which is why you put a salve over the weapon, which is designed for people like you to do battle mage this way. So, like,
Oh.
it does, but that's just, like, the way that you would talk to other fighters, being like, yeah, that's why I use anti-elemental salve whenever I do my polishing, to make sure it maintains a good edge.
Oh, okay. Cool. Yeah, then onto the weapon, and then I'll, attack him with that.
So have you ever seen, like, something that burns very faintly but really hot, where it just has a light blue flame to it? That's not what happens right away. You belch on with the damage and go for a heavy swing, and then as the fire kind of, like, laps onto this thing and clings to it, there's the last couple little swing, like a few flicks, like a whoop, 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 and then the fire goes off on the edge of your weapon. What's the
21
damage?
in total.
Alright, 21. The fire and the swift damage both seem to be not exceptionally effective, but not exceptionally ineffective. They're a good enough way
Okay.
to get at it. The quick hits are enough so that you partially hit, like, armor plates, but you're able to curve them into the weak spots when you need to. And the fire, it seems like when it's on an armor plate, it makes this thing hot and uncomfortable, and when it's underneath, it makes it singed and it makes it cringe away from the hit. I'll be back in a moment.
Cool. I've done most of the damage to this thing, guys.
Yeah, you got the build for it.
I'm like, now that I'm using the build, like, I can see where this is going.
Yeah,
The demonic adds so much.
it does.
It's just so much. Like,
I don't. Yeah,
I can heal with demonic. I can fuel attacks with demonic. I can use
it's
demonic
right.
to add to my armor threshold, and then deal that threshold to the thing that attacked me.
Now I think it's like you could do that once per day. I think, or
So it's once per day by novices, twice by trained users, and 3 times by experts. So I'm going to be getting this to expert, definitely.
oh, absolutely.
And then I'll be just using it all the time.
In one of Will's other campaigns, I made a character that was told by the demons to go kill like the big bad guy, and I wound up soloing him. And I came out of it with like 5 health, but I won.
Oh my god.
Demonic's really fun.
Hello.
Hello.
It's the cat that hates me.
He's like the worst helper maybe ever.
Alright, so status of the fight. This creature, after taking a hit, what was the hit again? 20-something?
21.
21.
9 plus 10.
That's what I was gonna say.
It still seems to have some fight in it, even though it's clearly taken some wounds in a couple of vulnerable places. Nonetheless, angry and ready to go. In the middle of the battlefield, you have Chicken holding her own, kind of standing alone with the wounded one, fighting with the Hammertail. Off to the side, the family has been successfully brought over to the wagon, and halfway to the center of the battlefield, Diesel and Todd are both closing in. Todd is already at ranged weapon distance, so can start skirting around sideways. For the record, if it comes to angles, everything's kind of splaying northward. So the Hammertail's a bit further north, and then the wounded guy's a bit further north than that, but really it's like a thin, narrow angle where you guys could start fanning to wherever you need to be and be about the same distance.
Okay.
There's been one full turn from Chicken, but no off turns. There is another shot coming from the blunderbuss that seems to annoy the Hammertail, but not excessively. For 6 damage. It's just irked.
I still have an off turn that I can use for my slingshot. Okay, well I'm gonna do that now.
Okay.
Another 7. Nope. Yes.
What's the damage type on
Same, precise.
that? Okay. Like a beer can in front of a Yeti mic, there's a sharp crack as this thing impacts right underneath an armor plate.
Okay. I don't think the turns come around back. I think I burned everything I had getting everyone to the wagon.
You did, and now you restart turn order, pushing your way back in. There's just last chance for off turns before that turn happens. Last chance?
I see.
Remind me, how much damage does an off turn?
10.
10? Okay.
You're talking about the onslaught rule. Yes, every time you use your off turn to make an additional attack, you consume 10 stamina.
Cool.
And I forgot a couple of rolls that I need to make for one of them.
I want to keep my stamina in case I get hit in the face, you know?
In case you get bodied.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing Demonic lets you do that is very funny is that you can just spend health to deal damage.
Yeah.
So if you really want a fight to be over, you could say, I'm bringing myself down to 51 stamina, and I'm dealing the full, like, every last bit I got. Please die. Thanks.
That was definitely... The design for that part of the game was influenced by me knowing that when I gave people the power to, like, use health to deal damage, people love to do it. Like, a lot.
It's fun!
Mm.
That's my new Borderlands build. In the Tina's Wonderland, there's a character that's that, and it's fun. It's like the definition of risk versus reward.
All right. If that's last call, then we go back to turn order. Somebody wanna... It's a modified D6. 1 to 2, 3 to 4, 5 to 6.
On 5 to 6.
2 to 4. Nope, 3 to 4. Numbers are hard.
1 to 2.
Okay. So you're right next to this thing, and you can see it, like, roll over, kind of almost do like a rearward somersault back against something, and then you see its tail go overhead for a massive whump. For... That's gonna be 18 times 2, so 36 heavy damage.
Oh my god. This is why we don't take off turns.
So many damage.
I'll roll for it, but like I don't think I'm gonna be able to dodge that.
Oh no, you used one to brace and then you used one for the onslaught, I think? Maybe? You get 2 off turns, but also Diesel has Tactician.
Yeah. That'll be coming into play now that he isn't helping old ladies cross the street.
You do have all your turn economy back, by the way. New turn for Diesel.
Oh, you're right. Watch out!
Yeah, if you don't
Does
have an
that
off
help me?
turn. Do you have an off turn?
Do I have off turns?
Have you spent them all?
This is a new turn. I haven't done anything.
That's true. So you could take a free one from Tactician, and then have both of your remaining off turns left after taking a defense of some sort.
Yeah.
Okay, I got so 23 for my dodge on that.
Okay, does that include the threshold?
That includes the threshold.
Okay, so it's not quite enough. This is an almighty, like, whump armor crumpler hit.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else you're adding on, or is it just make its way past the base?
Can I roll again to, like, do, I guess, an additional off turn to dodge?
I don't know if that's how it works.
There was a demonic ability that was once per turn. That might have recharged. Otherwise, that's your turn and you took the damage through the block.
There's once per day.
Right back.
Okay.
If it's once a day, it hasn't recharged yet.
Yeah.
So you would take the 36 damage through your armor.
Yes. Ouch.
You managed to successfully block, but it's enough that you have to move out of the way as you're feeling some of this blow. There's a smack, a bit of a cloud, and a couple of sharp shards that you feel kind of nick the spot right underneath your eye, but your eye's fine.
Cool.
Right on the face, though. That sucks.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, I'm running in there. I'm getting as close to this thing as I can with 5 movement speed.
Alright, with 5, you're still kind of far. Do you use your main turn to sprint? I don't remember what the rules are for that.
Yeah, I'm using my main turn to sprint. I'm basically trying to get in to help absorb some of this damage that's being dished out. So, like, if I get there and I still have an off turn left, then I'm a happy man, you know? So I'm going to be using my main turn to sprint and one off turn to also sprint up there. Be like, if you come for one of us, you come for us all. And try and really put sort of my mortal flesh on the line for once.
I tried to do Control F run in the game, and it turns out I say run a lot. Like when a mech runs out of power, run faster.
Might be also sprint instead of run.
They taught me about
Maybe
regex.
Sprint. Maybe if I go
So
move.
like, that's the play, boys.
Oh, move's way worse. I remember it being a thing. What's your... give me a grace roll. How many points do you have in Grace?
How many points do I have in Grace? Just the one.
Okay, want to give me a roll?
I would love to. That's a 7.
A 7. You push forward, burn through one off turn, and you have one left when you're in range. And for context, this is like the far end of your Danax range.
Yo, I mean, I'm not swinging at him. I'm saving that off turn for, I'm hoping that my presence here, if I'm kind of... I mean, I don't have, like, great armor for clinking an axe against. But I can kind of stand there.
Well, it worked.
Being a target.
You take... That would be... 21 impact damage.
Wasn't.
Alright.
And then it shifts a bit further to be not within weapon range of everyone.
Well, I'm bracing for that. And
Can I also do a...
Sorry, that was a 21 you said?
Mm.
I got exactly... Oh, never mind. I get to add +4. So, yes, I'm all about 21.
Alright, and that was a brace?
That was a brace.
Alright, this thing doesn't have the full overhead swing on you. It moves around its hammer, and you end up moving into the blow slightly, past the hammerhead to block it with the haft, so you don't take the blunt of it, and it kind of slingshots back rubbery style.
Nice.
And just in time, Todd is behind the group, sling in hand, I believe at full action economy. Diesel has run in. You can see that there's someone wounded who has run from cover to cover who has a scattergun. Currently, your other two friends are in the depth of the melee.
I'm gonna go for a precise hit, see if I can really just shake things up a little.
Alright. You load in a shot and you wait for the right moment because this thing has heavy armor plates and it's real weak underneath them. If it just turns the wrong way for a swing and you release it at the right spot, you can really nail it.
13.
How much?
13.
13. Comes out to 26.
Oh!
Nice.
This thing lets out a cry, and where it impacted, you can see the way it came with like these sharp crushed stones around here. It actually caused like a cut along the, almost like just underneath this thing's like armpit section. It is quadrupedal, so it's kind of like part of the forelimb armpit.
Yeah.
Back to turn order.
So, I have a thought. I want to grapple this thing, but it's clearly bigger than me, so I want to specifically grab one of those armor plates and try and, like, the wounded one, see if I can pry it up so that my teammates have a better chance of getting under it.
Alright. Want to give me a weapon roll?
Would love to.
I don't know why, but the thought of that, like, just makes me think of, like, catching your toenail inside of something.
Think of, like, a toenail extraction video. I'm getting the hydrogen peroxide to clean it off, and then I'm getting my little tool, and I'm asking them, well, do you feel any pain here?
How many toenail extraction videos have you watched?
Oh, there's a guy on YouTube he calls himself the Toe Bro, and he's a doctor, and he does it, and he films the whole thing, and he's describing what he's doing. He puts the acid down there the whole way. It's great.
Like, I've had to have seen also, like, dozens at this point.
I have never been so torn between, oh god, that's disgusting, never show it to me, I don't want to see that, and I will fight to the death for the fact that this is educational content that should be available to people. Like, I really respect that YouTube channel. I don't want to watch it. I don't want to.
Well, the thing that makes it nice is that the people are always describing how little pain they feel and how this is, like, nothing, and they expect it to feel really awful, and they're like, wow, it's just like picking a scab.
It's
and
like
he's
when
like, look how far that ingrown toenail was in your foot.
It's like when you hear about the Dr. Pimple Popper videos, and it's like, you're horrified, and then you hear the patient go, oh dang, and you're like, okay, it's not that bad.
Yeah.
I would never use horrified as a description for those. I love those videos.
I had a 11 as my weapon attack.
Okay, so let's zero in. 11 as an attack.
Yeah, I'm saying, all right, I'll peel the armor back. You get some good hits in.
Alright, so for the sake of the grapple, you've commenced it. You haven't freed it the way you intend to, per se, but you have the Danax. The Danax has a curve and it has the spike on the other end, so you can use like some polearm logic, get underneath, and then get a hook. And so you are currently entangled with this thing.
Cool.
It makes...
Right, what...
Sorry, go ahead.
Brady, what kind of damage were you doing? Were you doing impact?
No.
Precise. Cool.
Do you have something that deals that kind of damage?
I don't think so. I have a Dane axe and a battle axe.
Yeah, I think they're both impact swift. Alright, nonetheless, it's not like you're dealing lessened damage, you're just dealing normal damage while your ally has an advantage. And it was an 11 to hit against this thing with what kind of damage again? From Diesel?
From Diesel, that would be probably impact, like trying to get the hooked into that Danax, like under something, you know?
Sorry, I was just, that was my mistake. It's a grapple roll, so it's not damage per se.
Not per se, no.
Alright, so you are nonetheless grappled, so you can move this thing if you need to. It's currently away from the road, there's someone wounded nearby, and it's entangled with you and Chicken.
Whoa, I would like to give my my tactical off turns, 2 of them, to Diamonds, kind of grunting, saying, "See if he needs help! He might be bleeding out!"
Oh, like to see if the person is okay?
Yeah, I mean, if he's bleeding out, he might die soon, and that would be bad.
Okay, so now I get 2 free off turns? Is that how that works?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So after receiving the instruction, immediately you see the muzzle flare of another blunderbuss attack, as this guy, like, there's a trail of blood. Once you see the blunderbuss flare, you can see he went, from there to there, and that got smashed, and now he's there. Like, it's drip, 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 drip. He deals 5 damage to this creature. And it's back to you. You've got 2 off turns that have been given to you.
If I roll for some sort of... So I'm thinking doctor, but I'm thinking it's going to be more of a... Like, am I close enough to this person that I could do like a quick see what's the deal, or be able to shout to them if you are feeling lightheaded or if you are feeling like a ready pulse?
You immediately, for no action, once you get close enough, you can see that there's like some pretty heavy bleeding, a couple of cuts and scrapes, but based on the look of the leg and the way this guy's moving, it looks like he has a limp. He may have taken a leg hit from this thing.
Can I roll doctor to see if I can put together like a makeshift splint to prevent more damage?
Yeah, go for it.
$13 for doctor.
13. Okay. So with a 13, that means... the guy is not out of hurt. He's still bleeding. You've stabilized the limb damage, so this guy's going to have some stability moving. But in addition to just the heavy fatigue and constant work of trying to keep up with this fight, this guy's also had some moderate blood loss and is going to have his wounds cleaned. The biggest thing, though, is the shock. This guy is in survival mode. It's just that his survival mode is fight, so he's with you in this, but he's not okay.
Do I have to roll another doctor to see what I should do to this guy, or am I able to see?
Each doctor roll is a healing roll for direct health benefit. So you can flavor it the way you want. I'm giving you information on how to flavor it going forward, as it's an ongoing situation. He is still wounded and needs doctoring, but just barely.
Okay. I think I'm gonna do another doctor for some, see if I can stop the bleeding. The major bleeding. Because I'm not too worried about, I'm going, trauma surgeon mode.
Mm-hmm.
don't worry too much about if it's clean. Worry that that's a later problem.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go for some, like, let's stop the bleeding action.
Like, here's a bandage. Please apply as much pressure as you can to right here. Thank you.
And I got a 12 for that.
12. 12 is enough to get this guy back to stable. After the initial splinting, you notice that the impact site was probably a lot closer to the hip. The break is in the leg, which is what needs the most immediate attention, which you did with the splint. But the same way that if you get punched around, like, the eye, you get a lot of cuts around, like, the eyebrow and the... What's the name? What is that in the face again? Cheekbone, yeah.
Orbital?
Exactly. So, similarly, there's a lot of superficial cuts that might eventually need stitching, but for the most part, like, you don't need a full-blown tourniquet, you just need tight bandages around, like, both the hip section and the leg section, but you're able to do this while moving, and you help get this guy a bit further from the fight.
Then, can I take one of my off turns?
At this point, you used 2 and 1 of yours, so I think you have 1 left.
Yes. Did I take my main turn?
Nope.
I think that was the precise hit.
Okay, so do I have...
1 left. Because you took 2 from Diesel. So 4 off turns total. In the meanwhile, this thing...
I'm gonna shoot at it again.
Alright, go for it.
I got an 8 for precise.
Tactician is the best benefit in this game for people that like to tell other people what to do. Because not only are you like, hey, you should do this, here's also an incentive to do it, and it's free. And I'm actively letting you do the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like...
There's a big difference between giving someone orders with their resources and giving them literally bonus turns.
Yeah,
especially because when it comes to Tactician, you, as Tactician, give directions, but really all you do is give the off turns. Your allies can do whatever they want with the off turns.
Yeah.
So...
I don't think I haven't done my main turn.
I think you did the main turn just swing with elemental bonus damage with the fire, but you haven't taken your off turns yet.
Okay, no, I won't. I don't have the health for it.
This thing, as a full turn, does an AoE attack. It does another big overhead slam, but instead of targeting someone, it targets nearby, like, small rocks to shatter. There's a splinter of debris that goes around to Diesel and Chicken at the same time.
I'm bracing. That's a noise I make when I'm bracing.
None of you are behind cover, but the cover behind you gets splintered in the effect. It's a total of 18 damage each.
Oh!
Just balanced.
Easy peasy. Oh yeah, no, I braced through that. I'm trying a lot harder than that.
Alright, both of you see the big overhead swing, and you see that it's not targeting you, so both of you are able to just kind of... And you feel the spray of splinters underneath you against your armor, but one of you's got a heavy, like, rescue flak jacket, the other one's got full chain and plate. You just go... You get the... And you go right back in. That's what armor's for. No reflex. Right back into full turn order, full turns begin again. This thing goes for a smack against Chicken for...
Can I, if I'm grappling it, try and move him out of the way?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. How would I go about doing that?
You just move with it.
Okay.
You have 5 speed, you go, come on, motherfucker.
Yeah. Oh no, you don't!
Alright, that's enough that because you do that to interrupt, this thing swings, it gets pulled, and it goes, whoom, there's a buffet of air, and it misses and gets yanked. It reflexively just does a normal attack against you, no bonus, but it's because you're grappling it, and it's like...
Yeah, that makes sense.
And that's going to be for 20 damage. Balanced.
20, yeah, I'm good. Well, thank God for red strength, baby.
Alright, you feel a couple of superficial cuts, but they're in your super skin, not your real skin.
Yeah.
That'll heal overnight. It's like It's like a car, like when you get something and you're like, oh, it'll buff out, but it's like your whole
Yeah.
skin.
Yeah. It's just, you thought you punctured my skin? Guess again. This is the skin that comes before.
Okay, the Hammertail is thrashing, and it seems to be tied up with everyone here in the middle. The third person has been doctored to the point of being safe to bring back to the wagon, but they seem to be ready to fight this thing. They send off another blunderbuss hit for 8 damage.
Nice.
Anybody else main turn?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna main turn.
I'm gonna main turn.
I don't want to, like, hog it here, but if I use my main turn to try and, like, reveal an armor plate, that might help my friends. I don't know how I would do that, but I'm trying to get my axe underneath one of them and just kind of peel it off like an ingrown toenail.
The state it's in right now, you can do, like, reversals and flips and throws, but you more or less have this thing grappled, so you've made sure it's in the right spot. You can deal extra attacks if you want, and you could flavor it as, like, combo hits. But technically that's not, like, a move. It's just, like, you know, we're describing a fight. That sounds cool. You do that.
Okay. Well, in that case, I'm gonna bank him with my axe.
I got a 25 to breathe fire on my weapon and then attack it.
Alright.
I got another 7.
Is it swift or impact with the battle mage attack?
I'll do swift again.
Alright, so with these swift attacks, you're maintaining a posture. An axe has a lot of heft, but it's not that heavy a weapon, it's just weight forward. So you're able to be pretty quick with it if you have the right motion. That combined with your battle mage, it's enough that it's like swing, 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 belch, catch, elemental swing. It all moves in with your breath work and your footwork. With the rage that comes with fire, you belch another flame and shunk, give it a heavy 25 to its damage. To its health, I should say. It starts to shirk back a little. It's not the fastest thing, but once it gets away of weapon range, it starts to roll. That being said, it's just at the edge of the... What's the damage on the Danax?
My damage here is a 16.
16. There's a heavy slash to this thing as it's starting to move, and your Danax is able to gouge into a couple of its weak points as you set it off footing. It seems like it's trying to escape. You deal the damage nonetheless, 16 damage. So that's... Do you let it leave, or do you keep it?
If it's trying to get away, eh?
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't used any off turns this turn, eh?
Nope, you reset.
Well, I am using both of my off turns, and I'm yelling for diamonds to I'm giving diamonds another off turn. I'm saying, finish it off! Don't let it get away!
Okay, so I did 7 damage for my turn with my precise little slingshot boy.
Alright, so you wait for the opening. You hear, don't let it get away! And then, shoot, you get another shot. It would be a measly 1-7, but you managed to get this thing in its weak points while your friends are tying it up with light attacks. It's still a nice heavy 14.
And then I got a 9 for my gifted off turn.
Another attack?
Yep.
Okay, so you go, release. Catch, load, another release. This time for 18.
And with both of my onslaughts, I do a nice even 30.
Alright, describe those, because you're the killer. You've already got it caught with the Danax, you've got it splayed off kilter, it's taking hits from the side, it's taking elemental and fire damage from a second axe fighter, and it's being shot with scattergun blasts from another flanking angle.
I feel like what I do then is, as it's like trying to get away, I kind of have this thing grappled, and I'm going, oh no, you fucking don't. And I grab his flesh with one hand, Danax in the other, and I manage to get one of those armor plates just open enough
and then Diamonds can thwack that thing right in its soft underbelly, right where the heart might be.
Alright, so you've got this thing with the Dane axe. You give it an elbow, you give it a yank. There's a drip of blood as you curl into it a little bit, and then with your free hand, the Dane axe is already hooked. You pull on a plate, and then there's a slice.
Yeah.
It gets nice and deep, and it's enough that this thing starts to weaken and shudder. As it loses grip on one of its limbs, you go in for a finisher. This thing's big enough that you have to make sure the job is done. But it's out. You have
Go team.
saved 3 people from this. One of them was wounded and has been given first aid. There's a toppled wagon, a dead mount. It's a 2-horse wagon, so with the ox's pull, you should be able to carry it if you can get it untoppled. And you have 3 survivors. What's the plan from here?
The survivors are my first concern. I'm talking to the guy, getting him over to the wagon. Say, you did good. Is there anyone else? Anyone else we need to be looking for?
Well, everybody's like, are the survivors okay? I like walk up to the thing and like sit down and start eating a snack.
Oh, are you eating the thing?
No.
Oh.
There's snacks.
Okay. I thought
You sit there eating beef jerky in front of a dead corpse, and you're like, it's totally different.
It's totally different, guys. I'm just
No,
looking at the corpse, like eating this jerky.
No, that's everyone. You helped us. If you can just get us, if you can just get us to the nearest town, we can get a new mount and get to a doctor. Even a village or a hamlet, we should be fine. Thank you so much.
Well,
Can I
that's
do
what.
some, doctoring to see if I can prevent infection before they get to, a legit doctor?
Mm-hmm. Go for it.
Okay, so I'm gonna do that. Do I get to roll, or...?
Mm-hmm.
Yay! I'm gonna save this dude's life.
Yeah. That'd be a good thing to do, I think.
21.
21. This guy goes from 60 to 81 health.
Blammo.
The wounds are clean, and, well, you always want to be like, sure, check in with the doctor. You let the guy know, you don't need to go check in with the doctor right away. Your wounds are clean, this is set, you have a broken leg, you're going to need to be careful around it. Check in with your family doctor when you get home, but, you can let this guy just go stay in an inn for the night. He's going to be fine.
Perfect. Alright, well, then I'm going to go investigate the damage to the wagon. Does there seem to be, before we go to the effort of lifting this thing up, is the chassis okay?
They might have personal belongings that we could take with us,
It has extensive superficial damage and very little structural damage. The whole side is scarred, but you can just lift it up and we'll be fine.
Can I roll a mental brawn to see if I can just lift this up?
Go for it.
I also have a lot of brawn. I could help you.
Okay, this is me rolling mental brawn to be like, yeah.
Can I help?
Mm-hmm.
I have helper.
Sure. We're all 3 guys sitting there humming and hawing like we're government workers going, yeah, I bet you I could lift that thing up if I had it.
Alright, want to give me the rolls one by one then?
I was 20 years younger.
Yeah. That's a 23 on my end.
13 for helper.
Oh, are we actually trying to lift it? Or are we just seeing if we can?
That was my mental seeing if I could lift it.
So the mental 23, is that right?
Yes.
Mental 23. With the help of your grappling hook, you should be able to give it, a pull from the one side, and if you push and lift from the bottom, you should be able to ride it correctly. You just need one last person to guide it down, which Todd should be able to help with.
Perfect.
I'm also really strong. I can help.
Hmm?
Yeah.
Want to give me the core brawn roll for the lift and push on the far side of the wagon? So far, it's a plus 23.
I got a 19 to help with this.
Alright. Yeah. So with a 19, you move in behind, you give it a hefty lift and a shove. It's at 42. What's the helper?
I've got 13 for helper.
13. You can see a bit of buckling along the side of one of the wheels, so you actually do a bit of pushing, shove, you align it, and you make it so it doesn't heave too far on them. It manages to take the shock, it doesn't snap any wheels, and the wagon's upright again. It doesn't have a mount, but you should be able to use the hook to just, like... You don't need to shoot it, you just need to, like, release it, bring it through another lever, clamp it to the bottom, and you should be able to pull this wagon just fine.
Perfect. We get set up.
With my doctor kit, would I have things in there to, like, collect stuff from the beast, possibly for, like, healing, other things, or, like, even just learning what I can?
That's an alchemy roll, isn't it?
You could dissect it, you could try to extract alchemical components with alchemy. This would be more like you trying to understand how this thing's organs work. You wouldn't be able to get anything but a basic fighting trophy from this thing.
Okay, I will have one fighting trophy.
Alright, what's the trophy from the Hammertail?
What is the coolest?
The tail! The tail!
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking the tail. Like,
The
I'm just
tail...
And then I'm gonna put it on the back of the wagon, like our wagon has a little tail.
Oh, like truck nuts.
Yes.
Yeah, like that.
Exactly like truck nuts.
Does the
Except
creature have
way better.
any creature have any prominent genitals that we could affix to our wagon?
No, it has to be the tail.
It has to be.
Okay.
It's called a hammer tail. It's
Well, okay, if you're taking that, I'm taking the armor plate that we peeled off.
Yay!
So,
We're just desecrating this corpse.
Together, there's a point where you're just not going to be able to take that much of it, but you get the last of the Hammertail section with a significant, like, you get it back an armor plate. The plate, the hammer, and the core skeleton should, like, just, you know, acid bleach just fine. And I mean, you guys can talk to, like, the cleanup crew and the ranger crew. They love their trophies. But for now, you have a body part that you've thrown into the back of your wagon. There's easily enough room based on what we did in Session 0.
Now, Hearts O'Brien, don't go eating monster flesh. It doesn't taste good.
Not good for puppies.
It will make your breath stink so bad.
With the demeanor of a dog who is being very good after being very bad constantly, Hearts O'Brien is just sitting there, like a good dog sit. And you know when a squirrel is like sitting on the edge of the post and they have that little curl to their tail? Hearts O'Brien is picturesque, calmly being nice, because Hearts O'Brien knows that if Hearts is real nice through this whole thing, Hearts can nibble on it later.
Yeah. I have decided that Hearts O'Brien has the same general face shape as that terrible messed up dog I posted that has the long snoot.
Yes.
So where to next now that you guys have a wagon in tow?
Well, the nearest village should be the right place.
Okay, you are equidistant. One of them is back towards Mason's Fork. The other one is along the direction you're meant to go.
Should probably go ahead, because then both of us are getting to a place where we need to go, so...
Yeah.
Alright, they have no complaints. You're towing them to safety, so you move on ahead at your own pace. Slowed slightly by the fact that you're towing. You still take the terrain as an advantage. And move along 8 kilometers, past the turnoff up to a hamlet, although you guys are heading to the closest village, I imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bring them to a village.
Alright. Who is keeping an eye out right now?
I kind of need to take a nap. I'm at 56 health.
I am at... Okay, I'm at 125 health. I'm rock solid, dude.
Alright, so is Diesel keeping an eye out?
Oh yeah, Diesel's watching over.
Okay. You take 7 damage in the hustle and bustle of making sure that the wagon is being appropriately towed and it's not skittering off to the side or losing its hitch. By now it's getting close to the, like, mid-morning. It's about like a brunch, a pre-lunch. For you guys it feels like lunch because you start early, but these guys are still mid-morning. Who's keeping an eye out?
Probably go this time.
Okay.
Alright. Another 4 damage. You actually almost slip. You manage to catch it in time. You slow up the wagon, you check the hitch, and then you get the wagon going again. You've still got the tow going. With the slowness from towing, you make it, nonetheless, another 8 kilometers. And just around kind of the later section of lunch, make your way into a town square as people are eating. Close to the inn, you can see that there's the inn is built with a bit of a stable section, and from the look of a garage off to a side street of the village, there must be someone here who fixes wagons. Very quickly, they see you coming and they notice people who are, being towed, and start to move into action, make sure that they have rooms, make sure they have everything you need. Do you guys have business cards? You guys would have been given them by Allied Independent.
Do we have business cards? Of course we have business cards. We have business cards that form a card deck.
Yeah.
Collect them all. We have a whole... Yeah, collect them all. I feel like our business cards are legitimately just playing cards with our contact information, written on it in marker.
Yeah, I feel like we would get, a deck of cards, and then each of us would get the suit that is for us, and even, the dog gets the hearts.
Okay.
And he just has,
the dog
dirty
has
paw
business
prints.
cards.
Yeah,
Okay.
dirty paw prints on it, or, a corner bitten off or something.
Oh my god.
So who gets, which customers or potential customers get a business card from this interaction?
The
Everyone.
wagon repair shop for sure.
Yeah, I'm just throwing them out.
Okay.
Anybody that looks like they might do anything dangerous gets... I feel like I want to be that dude on the Magician movie with Daniel Radcliffe in the second one where he can throw the cards at people, and that's
Harry Potter?
No, that's actively what I'm going to be doing. I'm just going to be flinging cards at people
All
and then
right.
running away.
So at the tavern job board, you pin up a jack of clubs for the business. There's a 3 of spades that you hand to the mom, a queen of hearts that you hand to the dad, a king of hearts that you hand to the wagon builder, and a 6 of clubs that you hand to a passerby who just went, "Oh, hey, what's going on here?"
What about a diamond? We didn't do a diamond.
Luck of the draw.
Boo!
So 100% while we're traveling back with these people, I did ask the kid at one point, so what do you want to be when you grow up?
Let me draw a card for that.
Okay. I feel like Diesel will look very hurt if it's anything other than a rescue hero.
3 of spades. The kid wants to fix roads.
Now that's an admirable profession. Roads need fixing. It helps keep people safe.
Wagons get all jostled by the potholes and they tip over, but if you just filled those with dirt, you'd be fine.
Yep. That would really cut down on the amount of accidents and cut
Nice
down on my
crushed
work.
stone angular aggregate to really keep a certain amount of, to avoid a certain amount of erosion along the roadside. And it's one of those things where a kid knows too many facts about dinosaurs. You're like, okay, buddy.
Okay. Well, I kind of look over at diamonds like, is that true?
Yeah, probably. I am actively not paying attention to what the kid is saying, and I'm just kind of looking around
I come back with the most confident grin and say, that's true. And
Alright, well, we'll pick up back at the garage for your next job assignment next week, or the week after, depending on what schedules are like. If you guys want to check out this show, it's at twitch.tv/Bloodwine TTRPG. We are at youtube.com/Bloodwine TTRPG, if I remember correctly. The rules are at bloodwine.fandom.com if you want to figure out how to play this game at home. Does anybody else have stuff to plug? Normally it's just Ken. I don't know if you guys are.
no.
We don't. No, we don't have any more stuff to plug.
I get in trouble if I plug the stuff that I'm doing, so.
Alright.
Yeah, I work 9 to 5.
At twitch.tv/Croden_live, you can check out me and Ken on Saturdays, play some video games together. We're playing West of Loathing right now, if you like stick dudes and cowboy adventures. So tune in for that.
And naughty jokes. Don't forget the naughty jokes.
True. Many naughty jokes. The jokes that are not E.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, well, take it easy, guys. Thanks for hanging out.
Yeah.
Peace.